Why your dog follows you everywhere. The psychology behind it. There is something your dog does every single day that is so ordinary, so constant, that most owners have stopped noticing it. You stand up from the couch. They stand up. You walk to the kitchen. They walk to the kitchen. You go to the bathroom. The door opens 4 inches and a nose appears. This is called being a velcro dog, a dog that maintains near constant proximity to one specific person, regardless of whether anything interesting is happening, regardless of whether food or walks or attention are on offer. Just presence. Just nearness. Just the specific gravitational pull of one human body moving through a house. Most owners explain it one of 2 ways. Either, she just loves me, or, he's a bit needy. Both of these are true, in the same way that saying, water is wet, is true. Technically accurate but entirely missing the depth of what's actually going on. This video is about what's actually going on. Not the simple version. The real one. Why following happens, what it does for the dog's nervous system, when it's healthy and when it's something else, and what it means about the nature of the relationship you have built, often without realizing you were building anything at all. The architecture of attachment. To understand why your dog follows you, you have to understand what you are to your dog. Not owner. Not pack leader. Not the person who controls the food. Those are all accurate in narrow ways, but they miss the central thing. You are a secure base. This is a term from human developmental psychology. It comes from the work of John Bowlby, who spent decades studying how infants attach to caregivers. The secure base, in Bowlby's framework, is not just the person who provides food and safety. It is the person whose presence allows the infant to function, to explore, to tolerate uncertainty, to recover from stress. Remove the secure base, and the infant stops exploring. They cry. They search. Their whole cognitive and emotional system reorganizes around the task of getting back to the attachment figure. In 2013, researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna ran a series of careful experiments to test whether dogs show the same pattern with their owners. The results were unambiguous. When owners were present, dogs explored more, worked harder at problem-solving tasks, and showed more confident behavior. When owners left the room, even when a friendly stranger remained, exploration dropped significantly. Problem-solving motivation decreased. The dog spent more time hovering near the exit. Crucially, replacing the owner with a different friendly human didn't restore the behavior. It wasn't just any calm presence that enabled the dog's functioning. It was specifically their owner. This is what the research calls the owner-specific secure base effect. And it means something specific. You are not just a source of resources for your dog. You are a neurological platform, a base of operations, the stable point from which they navigate the world. When they follow you from room to room, they are not being dramatic. They are doing what the secure base attachment system was built to do. Maintaining proximity to the thing that makes the world manageable. Why proximity feels necessary. Here is something worth sitting with. For your dog, your location is information, not metaphorical information. Literal, real-time data about the state of the world. Dogs are extraordinarily sensitive to the regulatory state of their attachment figure. They read your breathing, your posture, your movement quality, the tension or ease in your body. When you are calm and unhurried and moving through your house in ordinary ways, that information tells your dog's nervous system, the world is fine. Threat level is low. I can relax. When you are out of sight, that information stream goes dark. Not gone. They still have your scent, the residual sounds of your presence. But the richest, most immediate channel of safety information has been interrupted. And for a nervous system built to use proximity to the attachment figure as its primary threat assessment tool, an interrupted channel produces a low-level activation that says, "Find them again." This is why dogs follow you into the bathroom. Not because they are incapable of being alone for 3 minutes, but because the bathroom is where the safety information is. The following behavior is, at its core, an information-seeking behavior. They are staying close to the best available signal about whether everything is okay. The one-person phenomenon. Many owners notice that their dog follows one specific person, even in a household full of people. This is not random. And it is not simply about who feeds them, though that is part of it. Research and observation consistently suggest that dogs orient toward the person who is most reliably, most consistently, most accurately responsive to their states. Not the most exciting person. Not the loudest or the most fun. The most predictable. The one who has, over time, proven to be a trustworthy reader of what the dog needs. This is the same pattern seen in human-infant attachment research. Infants don't attach most strongly to the most stimulating caregiver. They attach most strongly to the caregiver who is most sensitively attuned, who notices distress and responds to it, who maintains consistency across interactions, who shows up in predictable ways over time. Your dog's following behavior is, in part, a running vote. A continuously updated assessment of who in the environment is the most reliable, secure base, who has earned the right to be tracked across rooms, to have their morning routine memorized, to be the one whose location is treated as the most important variable in the room. The fact that your dog follows you specifically, and not the other person in the house or the visitor who gave them 3 treats, is a reflection of something you built over time, through hundreds and thousands of ordinary interactions, without ever having to consciously choose to build it. What following does for the nervous system. The following behavior is not just a byproduct of attachment. It actively maintains it. Every time your dog follows you into the kitchen and finds you there, doing the ordinary kitchen thing, calm, unhurried, neither threatening nor distressed, their nervous system completes a small cycle. The proximity was sought. The proximity was achieved. The safety information was received. Arousal goes down slightly. The world is confirmed okay. Repeat this hundreds of times a day, across months and years, and you have laid down an extremely robust neural pathway. Proximity to the specific person equals low threat, equals calm, equals good. This is why well-attached dogs have lower resting cortisol levels than dogs without a secure attachment to an owner. The attachment doesn't just feel good. It physiologically regulates the nervous system on an ongoing basis. The dog who follows you everywhere is, in a very real sense, using your presence as a mood stabilizer. When following becomes something else. Most following behavior is healthy. It is the ordinary expression of a secure attachment, maintained by an animal whose nervous system is wired to use proximity to manage arousal. But following exists on a spectrum. At one end is the well-attached dog who follows comfortably, settles easily, and can tolerate your absence without distress. This dog follows because proximity feels good, because you are interesting and unpredictable and might do something worth observing, because the attachment system is healthy and doing its job. At the other end is hyperattachment, a pattern in which the dog cannot maintain any distance without distress, cannot settle when you are in view but not touching them, shadows every footstep as though the loss of visual contact is a genuine emergency. The distinction matters because hyperattachment is not just a really loving dog. It is a nervous system that has learned to rely on constant proximity to regulate itself, meaning it has not developed the internal capacity to self-regulate in the absence of the attachment figure. This doesn't mean the dog is damaged or that the bond is bad. It often means the dog is highly sensitive, or that early experiences created a template in which the world without the attachment figure feels genuinely unsafe. The difference between healthy following and hyperattachment is not the behavior itself. It's what happens when you step out of view. Does your dog settle? Or does their nervous system keep running at a high level until you return? Allelomimetic behavior. The copying you never noticed. There is another dimension to following that most owners don't know has a name. It is called allelomimetic behavior, and it refers to the tendency of social animals to synchronize their activities, to do what the other members of their group are doing, at roughly the same time, for reasons that are less about copying and more about coordination. When you stand up, your dog stands up. When you settle, they settle. When you move through the house in a purposeful way, they move with you. This is not just attachment. It is something more ancient, the social synchrony that allows group animals to stay coordinated, to share a behavioral rhythm, to be ready for the same things at the same time. Your dog isn't following you to get something. They are following you to be with you in the most fundamental sense, to share your rhythm, to know what you know, to be in the same moment of readiness or rest. Humans do this too. We synchronize our breathing with the person we're sitting close to. We mirror posture. We yawn when others yawn. The mechanisms are different, but the underlying drive is the same. We are social animals, and social animals stay in sync with the bodies they are bonded to. The bathroom question. The bathroom. Every dog owner has experienced it. You close the bathroom door, and immediately there is a nose at the gap. A paw. Perhaps a small, questioning sound. This is not your dog failing to understand privacy. Dogs do not have a concept of privacy, a space in which social withdrawal is expected and appropriate. What they have is a proximity monitoring system that has just lost its primary data source. You have moved behind a door. The visual and auditory signal has been interrupted, and the proximity monitoring system has done what it was designed to do: flag the gap and prompt an attempt to close it. The nose under the door is not neediness. It is your dog's attachment system running its diagnostic. You were here, and now I can't confirm you're here, and I need to confirm you're here. The fact that you are behind a door that you will open in 2 minutes is information your dog does not have. All they have is the interrupted signal, and the ancient, reliable solution to an interrupted signal, which is, get closer. What the following tells you about what you've built. Here is the thing that most people never quite get to think about. Your dog follows you because of something specific: a track record, a history, an accumulated set of experiences that established you, in their nervous system, as the stable point. They didn't decide to follow you. Their nervous system found you to be the most reliable predictor of safety in their environment, and it wired that in. The following is the behavioral expression of a conclusion their nervous system reached, on the basis of evidence, over time. That evidence was ordinary. It was feeding times and walks. It was the way you spoke to them when they were frightened. It was how quickly and accurately you noticed when they needed something. It was the texture of your presence, whether you showed up the same way, day after day, or whether you were unpredictable and sometimes warm and sometimes cold. It was hundreds of small moments you probably don't remember, all of which were data. Your dog processed that data and they built a model. And the model said, this one. This is the one. And now they follow you into the kitchen, and into the hallway, and to the bathroom door, where they press their nose against the gap and wait. Not because they need something, because in the only language their nervous system speaks, being near you is the same thing as being safe. And being safe is the thing they are always, quietly, looking for,